Hi folks, Roland Martin here with a little fishing report on the Kentucky Lake Tournament, the upcoming FLW Tournament. Now, this is for the Fishhound.com report. You know, I love structure fishing, and in fact, for years I worked on Roland's electronics like I have here, and I also have a hummingbird unit. But now that we have the side finding and the imagery and the down finding imagery and the great map systems, it's a pleasure to fish structure here on Kentucky Lake. Now, what I like to do, I look at the big structure map of the lake, and I have a big Navionics chip in both my Lowrance and also my Hummingbird, and you can see these good sharp drops right on the river ledge, particularly where there's a bend. But anyway, we just have to look. But the main thing about finding fish on Kentucky Lake right now is with the good down finding sonar technique that you can actually see the white dots, you can actually see the arches, and you can put together the fact that it's either a school of white bass, it's a school of crappie, or it's a school of largemouth bass. And it doesn't take too long to figure it out. One of the best ways to figure it out is take a big heavy-duty cranking stick like this 7.5 foot cranking rod, and a big that's a really deep. That'll run down about 15 foot. That might be. Also, believe it or not, big worm. Look at that. That's a gorilla-sized 12-inch worm on a 3/4 ounce head. That's a real good way to catch them. Another really super way, it's probably my favorite way to fish the ledges, is what they call stroking a jig. Now what this is a pretty heavy jig head. It's a 5/8 ounce jig head on about a 14 or 17 pound fluorocarbon line. And I'm taking that jig and I'm throwing it out there. It's really a cool way of fishing. I'm throwing it out and actually hitting the bottom with it. When I get to the bottom, I let it all the way down, I stroke it up like this and follow it down real kind of fast. Kind of be a line washer. Stroke it back up, let it fall, watch that line, hook it up. And if you feel the slightest little tick, it's liable to be a white bass, liable to be a crappie, could be a drum. Chances are that it's a school of largemouth bass. And here on Kentucky Lake, there's monster schools of bass. Now, just yesterday, my son Scott and I pulled up on this one ledge, and the four of us caught like 40 bass in a row in just one school of fish. And that's the kind of action you can have. Stroking a jig is just a great way of catching it. Anyway, Kentucky Lake's going to be fun. A lot of 15 to 20 pound stringers are going to be caught, and there's going to be thousands and thousands of fish caught. Quite a tournament.
Hey guys, Scott Martin here, Fishhound Pro. I want to give you a Kentucky Lake report. It's June. These fish are going out deep. The spawn is over. These fish are getting out on the river ledges. We're at Kentucky Lake, and Kentucky Lake is known for its ledges. It's known for its summertime fishing, deep diving crankbaits, jigs, finding big schools of fish out there, and that's what we're doing this weekend. It's a lot of fun. I tell you what, if there's not a better place than Kentucky Lake to fish in June if you want to catch a lot of fish, and some good ones as well. Let me tell you a little bit about what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm fishing the ledges. I'm fishing the main river ledges. That's very important because that's where most of the current is right now. They're not generating a lot of current, but those fish are still out there. Catch them on a big, deep diving crankbait like this. This crankbait will get down to almost 20 foot deep. The key is throw it on 10-pound line. 10-pound fluorocarbon line, a really long rod, 7.5 foot rod, and a 7-to-1 reel. I like the reel a little bit fast, but that deep diving crankbait's really good. Then, in the mornings and mid-afternoon when they're not pulling a lot of current, you get a lot of bites on my little football jig here. And what's unique about this football jig is it's 5/8 in size, but it's the trailer. This trailer is a Bruiser Crazy Craw. You've heard me talk about the Crazy Craw. I've caught so many fish on this bait. I flip it in the reeds at Okeechobee, but you can also use it as a trailer. I used it at chatterbait at Potomac River. I use this all the time, but on my football jigs I use it. It's got nice little action on this trailer here. It's got a little ridge here. It creates a vibration that those fish really attract to. But here's the trick. I'm stroking this thing up off the bottom. Making a long cast and putting it on a 7.5 foot Pacuma rod, high speed reel, 15-pound fluorocarbon. Casting it real far out there, letting it sink down to the bottom, then stroke it up and let it fall on slack line. Then stroke it up and let it fall on slack line. What that does, it hops that jig up off the bottom, allows that Crazy Craw to do its job. It goes back down in front of the fish's face and they bite it. The high-speed reel is real important on this technique because a lot of times they bite it on the fall. You'll feel them thump it. You need to gather up your line really quick and set the hook. So a high-speed reel is very important. If you're fishing with a 5-to-1, it's probably not going to work out so well. So that's Kentucky Lake practice so far. We've got one more day. Looking forward to it. You know, it's going to take a lot of weight to win this tournament. I think somebody's going to probably have 20 pounds a day, maybe even more. There's so many fish on this lake, but one more day of fishing, so stay tuned. We'll have some tournament updates as this thing progresses. See you guys.